Chris Jones then, Times Online, RugbyPass.com. He joined us just a couple of hours after it all concluded. We've got many games to get through, mate. You've just finished watching England play Japan. Now, not the greatest England performance, but look at that scoreboard.
I know, they finally got a bonus point, and you know what? They actually did it with more than two people passing a ball without dropping it. I mean, the highlight, obviously, was the fantastic header by Joe Marler into space for Courtney to score his try. Then we had the kick to the corner, as usual, from George Ford. England don't believe in normal backline attacks. They're keeping it all under wraps until the final. Until then, it's going to be turgid stuff compared to what we saw earlier from Fiji.
Yeah, look, I mean, just going through those results, Fiji getting up over Australia, and what can only be called a very un-Fiji-like performance.
Yeah, they actually built a score. They are missing Caleb Munce. You know, obviously his ACL meant that he's not there giving them the kicks. But you know, they drafted in the replacement scrum half. He did the job. He just kept him going on the scoreboard. And you know, of course, afterwards, Eddie told everybody that they actually dominated the game, as statistics show. And he's quite right. They dominated turnovers handed to Fiji, and they dominated giving away penalties. The rest of the time, it was a great Fiji performance. And look, they've been suggesting this. We've seen that in the Pacific Nations Cup. They've got a good pack. They're line-out suspect. But, you know, give them half a chance and they will go for it. And it's just fantastic for the tournament. And, yeah, a Tier 1 scalp from Fiji, who, of course, now are Tier 1 themselves.
South Africa and Ireland taking care of business. Now, this Ireland side put 80 points on Romania. South Africa whipped them 76-0. I don't know what we can read into that. I think it's about the same as the All Blacks putting 70 on Namibia, isn't it? I mean, these teams really aren't. I mean, I know that there's a place for them at the tournament, but is there really a place for them in Test match rugby playing against Tier 1 nations?
Well, you wonder what they actually said to Vern Cotter, which gave him the great idea was to get involved with Romania, who have been terribly weak all year, and they've conceded so many points at this tournament that it's making the points difference look terrible. And you know, they are the weakest team here by some way, but then we knew that coming into it. So it tells you something about the European qualification group that's not as strong as it should be. You know, below Georgia and Portugal, there's not much else. So yeah, Vern's taken on a really poor side, and there's nothing he can do because I don't know if there's some kind of agreement that you don't get to three figures in this tournament, but, you know, in most previous World Cups, I think Romania would have been conceding 100 points a game.
Chris Jones is with us, Times Online, RugbyPass.com. So Fiji getting up over Australia, England over Japan. Let's look at the two other Pacific Island nations. Tonga 59-16 losing to Ireland, and Samoa getting up 43-10 over Chile. What can we read into those results and efforts?
What we can read into the Samoa game is, you know, they were very slow starting, which is unusual for them, but they carry enough threats to think they can have a real pop at England, I would have thought. I mean, if they can stop giving away silly yellow cards, you know, fine, it comes with the territory, doesn't it? But, yeah, they have got some really class players. Theo McFarland in the second row is possibly the best line-out forward at this World Cup. And so they're going to get ball and they're going to attack England with some real physicality. And Japan showed tonight, you know, that there are holes in that England defence, and Samoa will go for it. I'm not so sure about Tonga. That was a poor result. Again, slow starting for them as well. But yeah, I expected more from Tonga, and I know Kefu will be very, very disappointed with the performance. But you know, they're up against a good side. You know, so I must say Tonga will feel that they haven't actually delivered yet at this World Cup. And that's a shame because, you know, the guys they were adding, you know, the New Zealand guys they're adding, a class, but, yeah, they haven't managed to deliver a performance yet to warrant the pre-tournament belief that they could do something. Samoa, on the other hand, I still think can do something.
Here in New Zealand, of course, the major news websites gushing over the All Blacks win over Namibia. We've been told on one of them that Roy Gard and McKenzie are the blueprint future for New Zealand at 9 and 10. Look, I don't want to sound cynical, Chris, but I just looked at that game and I thought that was a very poor NPC side that we were playing. No disrespect at all to Namibia, but this is an All Black team, and I don't know what you can read into that apart from nothing.
Well, look, the scrum half looked very tidy, didn't he? He's a nice player. but he wasn't put up under a huge amount of pressure. Was it? Namibia, they're a Curry Cup side, and that's where they get to play. And this is one of the great weaknesses that some of the other nations are finding. Okay, the Pacific Nations Cup has given those countries a chance to play against each other. But quite honestly, if you're playing in the Curry Cup and then suddenly you turn up a World Cup, what do people expect? Namibians, none of them would get into the South African squad. They wouldn't get into probably the top 100 players in South Africa. So, it's that level. The biggest disappointment from the match for me was the absolutely dumb hit that de Groot put in. He's a professional rugby player at a tournament where those sort of hits are going to get spotted and you're going to get banned. I just can't believe he did it. If there was a fine system within the All Blacks, I hope they fined him a massive amount of money, because you can't let your team down like that, particularly when we've seen in this tournament that they're not going to miss those sort of things. And the way that there is no idea that this is exactly what you get. You could get anything in this tournament the way they're ruling these hits. So don't put yourself in a position where you're making an upright hit near somebody's head. It is dumb.
How long is he going to go for, Chris?
I think you get the usual 6, 3, down to 2 if you go to tackle school. That's what they seem to get here. If he says sorry, he's guaranteed 50% off.
So, okay, but that means I'm just trying to work the figures out. That means he will be available come quarterfinal time? Yeah,
absolutely.
Okay.
I would be amazed if he doesn't get that, because I don't think he's got a particular bad record. And in this tournament, this is what they like to do. Give you 50% off as normal. Go to tackle school, in which your own coach says, please tackle lower, you idiot. And then you get 2 matches.
Couple of quick things before we go. The national anthems still, what? Okay, you said last week, I mean, the schoolgirls had recorded all of these. They recorded them way too fast. They threw them out after everyone complained. They're still not right, though.
No, they're slowly getting there. By the final, we'll have it absolutely right. I mean, Joe Marler before the England game, in fact, God Save the King was actually something like you'd expect. He said, please stop messing up the anthems. That's one of the players taking part in this tournament, let alone the crowd trying to keep up. I mean, it is madness, that, I was at the Wales game yesterday as well, and Mein Hela Van Hadden, that was sort of recognisable, but again, it seems to get away from people. So you do feel you're taking part in some kind of sprint to get there before the end of the music. So look, this is a ridiculously self-inflicted problem. Whoever's idea it was, they obviously now can't go back completely on it, because these children have been given the opportunity to sing at a world event. And so they're not going to take it off them completely. But so what we're doing, we're making do and see how we go. And I say, by the final, it'll be fantastic. It'll be one person singing it in the middle of the pitch with a microphone.
All right, then, Australia, Wales, Fiji. Well, who gets out of that group then? We've got 2 massive matchups this weekend, Ireland versus South Africa, which could even be a preview of the final if things pan out. But also Wales versus Australia. And a winner-take-all there, boyo.
Yep, I should be there in Lyon. The gastronomic capital of France, where we hope to feast on a magnificent performance from Eddie Jones's lot, because, even if they lose, they will have dominated the match. So that's something we can look forward to. But it is, they're both, Fiji and Australia on 6 points, 4 points behind Wales. It's still a huge call to say which one of those 2 teams. I mean, Wales could still be pipped as well, So it isn't. We always said this was going to be an incredible group. Thanks to Fiji, it's become fantastic, and we're really looking forward to what will be next weekend, as you said, with the Springboks in Ireland, a really defining weekend at this World Cup.